All right, Black Box Radio. We are in the box.
What up, Queen?
Yes, we in that creative series. We creating a vibe out here. We got Shonta Watson. I mean, I am so happy to have you.
Mm-hmm.
It is so good to have you. I remember when I met you. I got to tell y'all a little backstory. Let me tell y'all a little backstory. I met Shonta at a I don't know, it wasn't a book signing, it was a celebration.
Yeah, it was a celebration for Tia. Yeah.
At Urban Reads, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she was walking around looking at the books, and I saw her, and she had a book in her hand. I'm like, what is she doing? She just looking around. I said, may I ask who you are? And she went in, had a whole interview, y'all, in 2 seconds. Two seconds. She had a whole.
I was buying some sea moss or something, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. She told me what she did. She told me she was an author. Her book was in Tia's store, right? Wasn't it? It was. She had you were a title in her bookstore from Philadelphia. All of this stuff in about 2 minutes, and I posted it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to see this lady again. I am going to see, and we're going to interview. And today is the day.
Yeah. We finally here, sis.
We finally here. And it's been a while, but I remember that vividly. You was ready. You was on it. You had your head wrap on. I was like, look at this African.
Yeah.
She is doing. I remember that distinctly. So today we are finally in the box together. I am so happy to have you. I'm Queen from Black Box Radio. We're a media platform for Black excellence. And we are a conduit for information for the Black community. And so we started this new series called Creating a Vibe. And it's really for our creatives. A lot of times you have all of these people creating amazing pieces when it comes to art, music. They make books like Shonta. So many different artists in the Black community, and they don't get platforms. And so it's important for me to create this platform for creatives. And so Shonta Watson is the creative of September. She is our guest, and I want you to tell the people who you are, what you do, where you're from. Just give us a little backstory on Shonta.
Okay, my name is Shonta Watson, author and creator of Shea, Buttah, and the Herbal Kids. What can I say about myself? I'm from Philly. I'm a Philly Joan forever.
Oh, Joan, I heard it.
I'm a Philly Joan forever, and that's in my blood. It will never go anywhere. And, I started off, just being a single mom.
Okay.
Working in the school district of Philadelphia. I started out in doing maintenance and facility when I was about 22. Okay. And I did that for about maybe 7 years. I did it for about 7 years. And then I got tired because it got to a space where, I was stressed. I had a lot going on in my life because a situation had occurred with my daughter.
Okay.
And I was wore out. I didn't have the space or the energy to really, keep going further. So I ended up resigning in 2009. And when I did that, Queen, let me tell you something. The day I did that, because I went out on leave for work. I was out on leave for about a month or two, for stress.
Really?
And yeah, because of the situation that happened with my daughter. My daughter, was violated when she was around at about 7, and I just was wore out. Okay. And so I had to go to the school district doctor, and they told me, you got to go back to work on that Monday. And I told the lady, I said, Miss, I ain't coming back.
Really?
I'm not. And so she was like, if you don't go back to work, you're going to be fired. I said, all right, I'll just take that L. And I left out, and I stood there. I was like, bitch, what you
taking L's out here.
Right? I'm like, what you So I said, you know what? I don't even care. I'm going to just figure this out. Went downstairs, retired. And I was like, I'm going to have to pay it forward and figure out how I'm going to do it. But the thing was like working all those years, I had enough money in my account, to be able to make that call, and do whatever I needed to do. I went on to school. I went to Lincoln Tech Institute, to be a medical administrative assistant. I graduated there in 2010, and I ended up getting a job at a chiropractor office. And there I was doing medical and billing, but then I was also doing colonics downstairs in the basement.
What?
Yeah.
Hold on. So you upstairs billing for the class and downstairs taking the shit out.
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
Yep. Yep. She, two good sisters, who I worked with at the time, because they were there for a long period of time and they showed me, how to do it.
Wow.
And we will all take turns, when customers would come in and we would go downstairs in that basement, we would create a vibe, and we would go downstairs in that basement and people come in sick and we did whatever it is that we needed to do. And then after that, I was getting tired of, doing that. And I was like, man, I want to go back to the school district. A position came up for me to be a para. And, I filled out for it. And 2 weeks later, boom, I was back hired again. And I was basically working in the education system from that point. And that was back in 2010. And, I've worked with students from kindergarten to about third grade. And then in 2012, I retired from the school district again.
Oh, wow.
And then that's when I end up here in Baltimore. Yeah. And that's how I end up here in Baltimore. My journey here in Baltimore came because, I fell in love with my boo. Okay. And, with my partner, we still together. And, she and I just, played it forward, from there. And, I came down here and I started working, being a para, contracted through Baltimore City.
What a para is? You talk about para. Tell us what the para is. What's that?
Well, actually, the title would be a para, but really I was a therapeutic support assistant for children who had mental, emotional, and educational disabilities. And so I was a one-to-one, paraprofessional, yeah. And so I was doing that, for some years because I was contracted, through another company, but it was through Baltimore City.
Okay.
And I just was getting into a space because I just kept saying to myself, like, what am I going to do? Because I can't do this forever. Although I do love the children and I love the spaces that I'm in, but what am I going to do? So one day I just, came up with something and I started creating hoodies, with like 3D paint. And I created my first brand, which would have been, Aspire. And that actually meant a sister providing inspiration, realness, and empowerment. And I would make hoodies and I would make hats. Oh, wow. And then I would create a saying on the back of them. And, I was getting the support, from people and things like that. But then I end up seeing a good brother here who does Truth Outfitters. I wear his brand sometimes too. And I seen that we was doing the same thing. And I was like, I can't do that. I got to do something different because I have to have my own way. I have to have my own, I need to set the tone, for myself. Okay. So, I started doing paintings and, things like that. And, I sold some paintings. I did okay. Some people have, Aspire, Shonta Watson paintings in their home. And that was okay for a minute, but it wasn't, it was cool, and it gave me a feeling, but it wasn't what I needed. And then one particular day, I was sitting downstairs. It was on, and I didn't even realize that it was Juneteenth, but me and my partner was sitting downstairs in the basement. And I was drawing the characters in my sketchbook. And she, when I got finished, I said, what you think of these? And so she was like, oh, these are cute. Well, who are they? And so I said, I don't know yet. I don't know yet. It'll come to me, the creator give me an answer on what to do. Then a couple days later, we were sitting there and I said, Eureka, it came to me. This is what I'm gonna call them, Shea, Buttah, and Herbal kids. So she was like, what? Like, what? Like, how? Like, why Shea, Buttah, and the Herbal kids? And I was just like, because I'm like, because I love Charlie Brown. She knows, like, I love the Peanuts. Like, I love them. And I always thought that the way that Charles Schultz created them, and they were only like 6 and 7 and 8 years old, and the way they would play it forward, and the way they would express themselves, especially Lucy, she was my favorite. I love this. Lucy was about her business, set up her little box, pay me 5 cents for my, to give you my opinion and things like that. And I was just like, one day, this is what I'm gonna do. And so that's what Shea Buttah is, like an inspiration from the Peanuts, but just those who look like us. And then I came up with the characters, which is Shea Buttah Johnson, and Joy Jones, you know, Ginger Root Robinson, Thurgood James, and Kwanzaa Eugenia Davis. And I named Thurgood James after Thurgood Marshall and James Baldwin because, you know, I love James Baldwin. I got a couple, you know, his books sitting, you know, in a couple boxes that I have. And, you know, and I just wanted just to be able to create characters and for me to create my own narratives and put stories in there to where children can be able to see themselves. Because again, me working in the school system, and when I would sit with the kindergartners and the first graders, it will always be, you know, Dr. Seuss and all these different books, but it was never anything that looked like us. It was never anything, I mean, the children loved it, but it was nothing that looked like us. So this is the thing that made me create a way for myself. Like I'm going to create some characters that shall be legendary. I will be a legend. Believe me, I will. I am a legend in the making.
Y'all heard it on BLaKBoXXRadio. Y'all heard it. She's gonna be a legend.
And
with it.
Yeah, and I just created the characters, and I said, "This is what I'm gonna do." One day, I said, I made paintings, and I was selling paintings for those. A good sister that I know, you know, she has a tutoring business here in Baltimore, Smarty Pants Tutoring. I'm giving out free promotion. Her name is Jasmine Rome, and I remember she was the first person to say to me, you know, Shonta, you gonna do it. Right, you're going to do it. Give me that painting. And she was one of the first people to buy Shea Buttah Johnson. It was a picture of Shea Buttah, and she bought that painting. And she was like, I'm telling you, it's going to be something one day. Just keep going. And I was like, all right, I will. And one day I just came up with the story. And the first story was Shea Buttah's first day at school. And actually, I really have a whole lot of stories written about them. And I have at least about 3 other books that's already edited and signed, sealed, and delivered in the background. But I just have to come up with what I want it to look like as far as like the creations. So when I wrote the story, I needed somebody who can do the digital illustrations because I didn't know how to do it on a pad. So, but I knew how to draw it out on paper. So I found a young brother named Carlos G. And I was connected through him through another sister, and I hit him up on the phone, and I was like, "Yo, youngin, like, can you do me this favor?" And he was like, "What?" And I said, and I explained to him what I needed him to do. He came over my house. We had a meeting, and I said, "Hey, I have these illustrations for my book, and you know, only thing I need for you to do is put on the pad what I have on paper." And he was like, okay, I'll do that for you. So he was like, just send them to me and, you know, I'll make it happen for you. And, you know, I sent it to him. He created a new pad.
Wait a minute. Hold on. So you're saying the pad, what's the pad? So
like as far as like if you have like a Wamco or you know just like digital art, you know,
okay,
I didn't know how to do it. Right. I didn't know how to do digital art. I just still knew how to do things hands-on. So
you do the hand painting of your own stuff. So you develop your character, you draw it out, and you write the story.
And I did the sceneries and everything. And the only thing he did was take what I sent him and just put it on digital art. And and then we had Shea Buttah's first day of school, and that was that. And it was released April 24th, 2019.
Let us see the book. Let us see it. Let us see that book. Look, y'all.
This is my baby.
First day of school. She's a Black girl. She got on. Is those socks?
Yeah, these are socks. Actually, Shea Buttah is actually I had in the mind of my daughter when she was a little girl. Like my daughter is 20 now. Okay. And this is how she would dress when she was a little girl. Like I would always put, you know, these stockings. She was colorful and she's still colorful to this day. And I would put on stockings with all these different colors, Converse. And she was like the Black Punky Brewster, like one of those.
I love it. Shea Buttah is actually a Black girl on the front. She's a Black girl. She ain't a play Black. Let me see that again. Let us see that one more time. Because y'all need to buy this book. She is she's a brown girl. Shea Buttah, I love that. So you drew the sceneries and everything for this book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
I did. And she was released on April 24th, 2009. But let me tell you the story to this. This is what's so funny. So I never forget when me and one of my homegirls went to go get the prototype for the book, right?
Okay.
So I came back to my job. I'm not going to say where at the moment because I'm not even giving them the time. But but I remember when we came back with the prototype for the book, and my coworkers was like, well, where y'all was at, because we had to, begin, whatever we was doing at the time. So I said, oh, I went to go get the prototype for my book. So they're like, the prototype for your book? What are you talking about, Shonta? And I was like, prototype for my book. So I had a book bag on it. So I took it out of my book bag and I was like, here it go right here. And they was like, what? You ain't never say nothing. I said, nope, move quietly. You'll see. I don't have to say what I'm doing. You'll just see it when it's signed, sealed, and delivered. And so, they came out the office and they start calling different coworkers like, yo, look what Shonta did and and all these things. So one of my coworkers, she was an older woman, and she put her hand on my shoulder and she said, Shonta, remember I told you that you wasn't going to be here long? And I looked at her, I said, yeah, I remember you saying that. And she was like, you ain't going to be here. You're not going to be here long. Like, you're not supposed to be here in this space. So I said, okay. Queen, the next day I was fired. I had an email. I had an email. I mean, talking about I was fired. I was like, hold up. Huh?
I got rid of you. Oh, no. Wow.
I know this woman ain't cursed me. I know she ain't cursed my ass. But
that probably needed to happen. That was the time. It's time to go.
It was time for me to go. It was time for me to go. And
you didn't mean that way though. You didn't want to go that quick.
Queen, not that way. I had a different plan. I already had it, planning for like, okay, I'm gonna get here because I need to get my foot here. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And I'm telling you, the divine creator said, nah, bitch, that's not how this happening. And just shut it down. And
I love it. You coming raw. You like, nah, it's not gonna be like that.
Shut it down, Queen. And I was just sitting there. I was like, oh man, I can't believe this. Like, what's going to happen from here? But then I thought about it and I was like, this ain't where I'm supposed to be. Shonta, you already knew that you was just here for a moment anyway. And so I just took that on the chin and just continued to keep moving. And so Shea, by the first day of school, did well. Like it does well, I was like Master P out here hustling my books. I can be at the bar, I'll be at a restaurant. I don't care, and be like, hey, how you doing? Such and such, my name's Shonta, I got a book and this, that, and different. They're like, really? And I'm like, and I'm like, yeah, like, this how you do. And they're like, let me see. And I'll pull it out. And my partner be like, yo, what are you doing? Like, you just, we out here, we vibing, and you sitting out here pulling out books, trying to sell to people. I'm like, babe, I gotta make this. I gotta get my coin.
That's true.
And so that's what I would do when people would buy it. And then it got to a place to where I'm like, okay, I need to make this grow just a little bit different. I would go to different places trying to get my books in places, and I got a lot of no's. Yeah,
tell me the story. Tell the story that you told me about. You went to like all of the big book places. Like,
and there's a lot of people who told me, no, I'm not going to say any names, because because this is the month to just.
Okay.
And I'm not going to say anything, because I'm not letting anything block my blessings, not one thing. And I went to a particular place, but me and you had that conversation.
I had a conversation with you.
Yeah, and went to a places, and they took my book, and every day I would be hitting them up, yo, like, what's going on? And they would never respond back. And then next thing this one particular place, and then they hit me up, oh, I got your book. I'm sorry, like I just threw it in a pile and, it's all tore up, but I'm going to pay you for it, because I don't want to send it back to you, but we don't want it in our store.
Oh, wow.
So I asked them, I said, yo, like, what's the reason why you don't want it in the store? Like, you don't feel like it's good enough to be on your shelf? And I would keep hitting the person up and like, are you going to answer? And he just refused to answer. I said, okay, got it. And so, I would go to different places. I haven't made it to all the spaces here in Baltimore to ask, but there are places that, just, shut the door on me. And maybe I shouldn't have always had the thinking of going to the big stores and going to the big places. I should have started small, but, experience teach you things. And then one particular day, I hit up Tia and was like, hey, I got a book. Is it possible if she can be over here at your store? So she was like, sure, bring it on over. And I brought it over there at Urban Book Reads or whatever. And I went over to her store, and she's like, all right, put it on the shelf. And it was on the shelf. And then that was the first bookstore that I was in. Shea, for me, Shea Butter wasn't probably a good fit, for Urban. So me and the babies, we left, but I'm thankful for Tia, because Tia gave me an opportunity, that other people did not, want to give me, like, just didn't.
Well, what I will say, is that's what makes Black bookstores so important.
Right.
A Black bookstore would carry a Black book that no one else would carry. And so that's why we have to have our own stuff. We have to have our own places, our own bookstores.
Right.
A lot of creative genius is in our community, and it doesn't get a chance.
Yeah.
And so Tia gave you the chance, and Tia's on Urban Book Reads is on Greenmount Avenue, right?
Yeah. Right.
So check out her. Please check that bookstore out.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And so from there, I just said, because I was working with another brother named Damani, with BDP printing, and it's called Black Digital Printing. And when we work with us, like, it's so expensive for us to do everything that we need to do, and he couldn't give me the distribution of things that I needed, because from him being a Black business, and you already know how that works. Yeah. And so I just had to take my baby over to, Amazon. It's not something it's not something that I wanted to do, but you got to do what you got to do.
That's what ways, and this is what people don't know, is like Black people say, well, why you're a business, but Black business can't compete with these bigger businesses that can do more with less, because they're bigger, like Amazon. Amazon is worldwide. It could do so much, and you pay little for more. And so you got a Black guy that can do the same quality, but you can't afford it because you're a startup too.
Right.
And this what makes it so hard for us is everything that we do, we're doing it as a Lone Ranger.
Right.
And Lone Rangers pay more than an Amazon that has units all over the country, that has a distributorship all over the country.
Exactly.
It's able to give you better prices, and you're a startup, you need those better prices.
Yeah.
It's not that you don't love Black people, but
because I'm gonna work with my people. Like I'm not, but when it comes down to business, like, business has nothing to do with, those who look like us. You got to do what you have to do, because that's the only way for me to get to where I need to be. Sure. And so, so Shea, like I said, Shea Butter's first day of school is doing well. The only difference about when you get Shea Butter's first day of school from Amazon, the difference is that when Black Digital Printing did it, it's a different, it's a landscape book. So whoever gets it now is the new way of doing it.
It's a vertical.
Right. But everybody else who got it before it got to Amazon, that's the old edition, of basically the structure. So which
one do you like better, landscape or the what's the one you have now? That's landscape.
Right. This is right. I actually like the landscape. I actually like the landscape, depending on how you're organizing your book and the story that you're telling. Okay. I actually like the landscape better.
The landscape better. Okay. Yeah. And so that's your first book. That's the first journey. But you went on and did this again, sis.
Yeah, I did. I turned around and I did it again. 2020 came. I had a different story, illustrations done, but COVID came. Wow. COVID came, and something said, this ain't it. Like, the book that you want to put out, this ain't the one. Spirit said, no, this is not the book. This is not the thing. Don't put that out. Think of another way. Think of something different. And so all of the chaos and everything that was going on in the world. So I said, okay, you know what? I need to put out an affirmations book for, Black and brown children. So I came up with Shea Butter and the Herbal Kids Herbal Affirmations. And this is
what is that?
It's on her hair. It says love, life, and peace. And in my brown is divine.
Ooh.
And this, and I came up with this one. And in the beginning of the book, I wrote a letter to Black children, and I called, and it's called Dear Black Diamonds. And because that's how I feel about our children. I feel like they're diamonds, they're raw and they're rare, and they cannot be replaced. Like, they just cannot be replaced. I feel like we are the culture. We are, without us, this thing don't make sense.
No, it don't.
And it's not about a thing of where I'm trying to feel or do any racial dividing and things like that, but we make a difference in the culture. And so yeah, and so that's one of my hashtags, like we are the culture. And I just created this affirmations book, and it's been the thing about this book that's so special to me is because when I put it out, it took a couple weeks for my formatter to get it done. It took him months to format the book because he had other books that he needed to format.
Okay.
And so in the beginning of January, I finally, when the prototype came back to me, it was January the 24th of 2000 of this year.
Okay.
And I remember me and my partner, we were celebrating on Zoom with two of my good Judys. And we were celebrating, we were taking a couple shots, and we was all in here turned up. And after it was over, 15 minutes to 30 minutes later, my dad called me on the phone. So I picked up the phone. I was like, "Hey, Dad, what's going on?" And he was like, "I got to tell you something, babe." And I was like, "What?" And that's when he told me that my aunt transitioned. And I was weak. I screamed to the top of my lungs because it was just like one of the strongest women I've ever known. Wow. One of the strongest women I've ever known, Christina Davis. Wow. She was gone. And so every time I look at this book, I think of my aunt.
You think of your aunt.
I think of my aunt. And it's making me emotional because I still get emotional every time I think about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the thing that we all have to see, no matter how strong we are. So that's a hard thing to have after you have such an accomplishment, and to lose somebody so great in your life. That's a hard movement.
Yeah, because it was crazy, because it was like 15 minutes later after I'm in here celebrating and doing it and twerking and all those kind of things, and then 15, 20 minutes later I hear that. So it was like a birth and a death all at the same time. But I understand that's the cycle, because I already knew that my aunt was sick already anyway. Sure. And I was in here, I was messed up for days. Like I never cried. The last time I cried that much is when the incident happened to my daughter. Okay. And I'm gonna tell you, I cried for at least 5 days straight. I couldn't get out the bed. Wow. I couldn't move. Like my partner would call me, throughout the day, like, "Babe, you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm all right." I'm like, I'm not okay. I'm not. Because she was just like one of the women, that played a special role with me. Like, it was always just so much love every time I seen my aunt. Every time I seen her, she would just always kiss all over my face, me and my daughter's face, like, "My nieces, my great nieces, yes, you're my nieces." And to know that when I come back home and I see my dad and I see my brothers and see my family, I won't see that face again. That's a lot for me.
That's hard.
That's a lot for me, but I got to get used to the creed and the will of the divine creator, And so one day, she came to me in a dream and was like, "You better get up. You better get up. Stop crying over me. I'm okay. Get yourself up, get yourself together, and you push and you do what you're supposed to do. I don't want to hear no excuses. You can cry, you can mourn, you can go through whatever it is that you go through, but you will not lay here, and just die. Like, because that's not who you are. You don't come from that bloodline. Get yourself up." And from that day forward, I just got up and I've been moving ever since.
That's right. Auntie with it. She's like, none of that. Get it together. I love it. I love it. That's what these strong women, that's what they bring to our lives. That is so, that's a beautiful story.
Yeah, but I have so many strong women in my family. Like I have a lot of strong women in my family, and I love them and adore them just for being the strength that they are. You
That's
know?
beautiful. A lot of people can't say that. So that's a beautiful thing. Can you at least tell the people what is that behind you? All that color. Is that's your work?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Wow.
This is just something that came to my head one day, and I said, well, okay, let me create these. And these are just different Black women with masculine haircuts.
Yes,
And then
I see the Bobby Brown joint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have over here we have the Afro puffs and it say love.
Okay. Yeah.
And then this one right here is just basically a gold chain inside of the teeth of a Black woman.
Yeah.
A rope-a-dope chain, because I'm a 90s girl for life.
Me too.
And then over here, this is a painting and it just say ancestors, harmony, love, peace, God, friends, and family, and hope. And then right here is this one right here. I call this Black women can see even when their eyes are closed.
That's my mother. You better know it. That woman can see. That's it. They can see when their eyes close.
And then this one is just the all-seeing eye. Like basically, I see you. Like, for me, because I feel like I see the bullshit out here. I see the people. I see the peoples with the shadiness and the people who sit elbow to elbow with me and smile in my face and be like, "Hey, sis," and really be slicing my throat from left to right.
That's that third eye you got back there. I love it.
Yeah.
Because it's not many people I talk to, and behind them is their creation. Everybody got a green wall, or they got other walls, but you got your own stuff. That's a creative for you. That's so original. That's so fun. What you drinking? Wine? What you drinking there, sis?
No, this water.
Oh,
it's sparkling water.
Like you putting back some Boom Farm. I'm like,
nah, that's sparkling water.
Okay, that's what's up. I really love what's on your wall. So let me ask a question, since you say you love the peanuts.
Okay.
All right. And I always gotta put all this right, because they came back to the peanuts and how it was a little racist. Do you know about that? And that the guy who wrote it was a race, But what do we expect from something that happened years ago? Okay. Right. But anyway, so I just wanted to say that it has some.
I know that. You know what I'm saying? I like the creativity of what he did, because it's so much racism that we live in. We cannot escape it. Like we just can't escape it. Everything that we have, from our money to the schools to everything that we do, is run. It just is. You know what I mean? And
that's why I wanted to say it. Even though it was fun. I mean, every Christmas you look forward to, Christmas with Snoopy Doo and with Snoopy.
Yeah.
You wanted that. You wanted to see that. So you want to animate Shea Buttah and Almond Joy. I love these names. And Kwanzaa Ujima and Thurgood James. Do you want to animate them and make them a series? Is that something that you're looking to do?
I do in my stories, yes. And then I hope to, in my way of networking, I hope that, because I know that's going to happen. And, but I'm just getting myself in alignment and prepared for whenever that day comes, because I don't know when it's going to come. Like, I'm not trying to chase and look for when it's going to come. I just got to stay ready for when it does come. And, when that opportunity comes, then I'm just playing it forward from there.
Love it. Love it. So, and that takes you're already writing stories.
Yeah.
So writing a series shouldn't be hard for you.
No, because I right now, like I said, I already have 3 other stories of Shea Buttah's first day that's already edited. I just need to put illustrations to it. And then I have other stories that I started, about Shea Buttah, but I didn't do anything to it. It's just sitting in the background, but I'll go back to it if I need it, and tweak it up a little bit, and then I'll put it out there. But for me, I learned that you can just do things and put them to the side, and and come back and do it, because you never know if it is going to be a book. You never know what's going to be from behind it. Like I did start, like when COVID began, I sat here and I said, okay, I was going to do stories online with YouTube, and just tell stories to keep you informed about Shea Buttah. But then a good friend of mine said, get that offline, because somebody might sit here and take your stuff and be using it for themselves. And so I was like, okay, let me let me get rid of it, and I stopped doing it. But when it comes down to my stories, like Shea Buttah and the Urban Kids is already trademarked, period.
Love it.
My stories are already copyrighted and stuff, period. Like, one thing for certain, two things for sure. Like, I understand that part of the business because it's mine, and I don't want no one else to, to have it. So if something shall happen to me, and if I'm not here anymore, my daughter can still have control over whatever I've built. And I make sure that I just keep all my paperwork and keep everything, in the box and stuff like that. So, and let her know, hey, if this happens and this happens, this is here and this is there, so she'll know what to do moving forward. And that's just, and that's just how because I want to create legacy for myself. Like, I want to create legacy for my daughter, like the same way those who don't look like us children walk in places, pinkies up, my mother and my father is such and such and such. I want my daughter to be the same way, walking in with pinkies up, and my nieces, my sugar boogers, I want them, to be able to go in places like my auntie is, such and such and such and such. And the same thing for my future descendants when my daughter decides to have children of her own. I want legacy for them. I want to be able to have the money so I can be able to create the vision that I want to see. Because sitting at tables and sitting here arguing, I don't have, like, I've tried it, but God always just kept saying, get up. That's not for you. Like, that's not a space for you, because I don't want to sit here, keep saying the same stories over and over and over and over and over. I just don't want to have that argument. We know what it is. We know what time it is. We know what's going on. So, this country is a capitalist country. We know everything operates on a coin. We know that the only, money talks and bullshit walks. And so we got to be able to create our brands and create our ways in order for us to be able to do whatever it is that we got to do. And that's the way to do it. Build your own. Not keep asking and begging and pleading and asking people to give you stuff. I don't got time for that. I want to be able to create my way and do my own stuff. So when it's time for me to sit at tables, I'm going to tell you what's going on, not what you going to tell me how I got to move, when I got to get up, when I got to do this, and when I got to do that. We're not doing that. I'm tired of it. My ancestors said, absolutely not.
I love it.
No, not anymore. No.
I love it. So, I mean, you're going to sit there with power. That's what we got to do. We got to sit at the table with power. I love it.
Yeah, because we have to build it for the next generation. We have to. Yes. You understand what I'm saying? Because this new generation, Generation Z and Generation Alpha, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like
my niece, working for them. They're not doing
it. Ain't working for them. Like, they kicking over tables, burning down buildings. They're not trying to hear it. But the only problem is that emotionally they're struggling.
Yes.
And they've looked at us and said, okay, we see that y'all have the blueprints and things like that, but emotionally y'all haven't been kind to us. And then I think that's where the disconnect is at. And that's probably why they don't listen to us. And I get it. I truly and honestly get it, because a lot of times we haven't been a good example. We just haven't, even for myself, as just being a mother, I know sometimes that I haven't been a good example for my daughter. Me and her had that conversation, all the time. She be in here, I ain't trying to hear it, Mom, and and this and this and this, and I'm like, listen, sis, look, we gotta have another conversation. That's because true. This, the things that you do, and and the ways that I see that you have, you're not going to walk that same path. I've been through too much. Too much emotional abuse, too much spiritual abuse, and physical abuse, and sexual abuse for you to sit up here and be out here on some other stuff. We ain't rocking like that. Now, I understand that as being a young person, you have to go through your things. And I let her go through her things, because I don't want to be that parent that sit up here and act like, that I was so innocent, because I wasn't. I was out here dipping and doing it and doing the things. You know what I'm saying? But in the same token, I just feel like, my daughter just deserves so much better. You know what I'm saying? Because she came into an atmosphere and came into a world that she didn't deserve in certain situations. You understand what I'm saying? And so for me, when I learned better, I started doing better. And that's just basically what it is.
That's all I ask of anybody. When you learn better, you got to do better.
Yeah.
A lot of times we continue to stay mired in these issues. And yes, we live in a crazy country. We are attacked on it every day.
Yep.
We got all of these issues. You go to work, you bring your best game, and they knock you down every day. This is what's happening to Black people and Black women. We going through it. We say we're the most educated and we're the most attacked.
Yeah, we are.
The smarter you are, the more they come for you. Trust me. And
but you know what? But you know what, Queen? I ain't mean to interrupt you, but you know what? I can't hear that argument about what they doing because they are committed to being who they are. Yeah. Let's have a conversation about what we doing to each other.
You better say it. You better say it.
Let's have a conversation what we doing to each other. And I remember like a couple weeks ago, myself and my partner we was out having dinner and we were sitting here having some drinks and we end up meeting, a group of older, Black women. And, we were just having a conversation. And I know I said to one of the elders, I said, can I ask you a question? And so she said, what, what's wrong, baby? And I said, is it safe to say that, we as Black women, and it's not to say that it's not no supportive and loving groups out here because it is, because I have good Judies. But I'm saying, is it safe to say that some of us as Black, like we are more damaging to each other than those who are on our side? And she sat here and she thought about it for a second and she said, you know what, baby, you are absolutely correct. It is. It is. Some of the things that we do to each other is absolutely insane to me.
Well, I know this too. Is we expect a lot of times when we talk about what we do to each other, we do not bring the trauma that makes you do the things that we do. If you do not heal trauma, I don't care how educated, I don't care how good you look, you're going to still be the trauma that's inside of you.
Yeah.
So when I see the problems with how we interact with each other, it starts with our own traumas.
Yeah.
And we are traumatized people, and it's a continuous trauma. It's not like we have time to even heal from the generational trauma.
Yeah.
Every day you get up, you experience trauma.
Yeah.
Being a Black person and being a Black woman, a Black man,
yep.
children, we are experiencing trauma every day. And then we're still expected to perform like everyone else.
Yeah.
And I think we got to look at Black women have to deal with it. We've done a lot of caring of the family. We've done a lot of we've carried the community in a lot of ways because our men are so attacked and so separated and in such a disarray. So and then we got to be educated. We got to be the mother. We got to be the father sometimes.
Yeah,
it is a very hard. And then say to us, okay, now we got to be the friend and support. When are we supported? And that's the problem. When it's time for us to support each other, our trauma gets in the way.
Yeah, it does. It does get in the way because even for myself, like I'm still unpacking my work. That work is forever.
Yes,
that work is forever.
It is
forever. For anybody to walk around here and talk about I'm healed, you're lying because it's not true.
It's not true.
It's not true.
It's every day.
It's every day. It's everyday work. And I know, when I'm in my younger day, I was out here carrying on, because I know it was people probably watching, sitting up here like, Shonta used to be carrying on back in the day. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I contributed to the bullshit that was going on out here. Yes, I did.
I love it. I love when they come and tell the truth.
You know what I'm saying? Because I need to, why I need to say it? I need to say it because it's always somebody in the cut lurking and want to talk about what you did 20 years ago, 10 years ago. And for me, this is my story. If you ain't been in my surroundings in the past 10 years, matter of fact, I've been here in Baltimore, for almost 10 years now, because September 1st made like 9 years or something like that. But if you haven't been in my space for the past 10 years, you don't know me no more. You don't. You know of me, but you don't know me.
Yeah, I mean, that kid is grown. That kid is grown, Jordan.
Yeah, and you don't know me. And so for those who say, oh, I know her, you know a version of me. You do know a version of me. You know the version that will turn up. You know the version that, have used these hands on numerous occasions. You do. I'm keeping it about Queen. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm being honest.
I love it. You used to come like that, sis. You used to put them hands on them.
Yeah, like I have, like, I'm not gonna lie, but with a lot of therapy, with a lot of prayer, because I love therapy. I love it. Therapy is my best friend, and and I'll leave from it. And when I need to go back, if I need a tune up, I'm getting a tune up. Just last year I had a tune up, where when COVID occurred and all those and everything that was going on, it was just so stressful. I'm like, what is happening, in the world? And so I joined Mama Ayala's spiritual warrior program. And it was an 8-week program that I had to do.
What?
And, yeah.
That's here in Baltimore?
No, Ayala Van Sant.
Oh my, okay. I was like, what is that?
Yeah, and I did her spiritual warrior program.
Okay.
And it was for like 8 weeks, and it was just extensive. It was extensive, and privately, on Sundays we would meet with her, and and she would like pay it forward, telling, getting on us about the hoodoo, but it was just such a beautiful thing, because what you seen on TV is not the thing that you seen, when I was in that space with doing that. And it was a real curriculum where you had to journal and do things every day, all day, and questions, and asking you how to dig deep into yourself and find out what is that thing that make you tick as a Black woman. What part of the trauma are you still holding on to? What is it like? Name the things that happen with, partners that you've had, are you still carrying it? Are you still holding that? Matter of fact, what is the relationship with your parents? Because, I can't sit here and say I haven't always had the best relationship with my parents, but now I can sit here and say that I have a decent relationship with my parents. And, my parents are some of the most kindest people you ever want to meet, on earth. And, and I had to like do more of that work, even though I thought that I was, doing work, but it was still more. And when I'm sitting here and I'm journaling and I'm like really getting into it, and I'm sitting here bawling and crying because things will pop up about things that I blocked out from, a long time ago, it's still having to deal with, the trauma of experience of being a single parent, and having to deal with, the discord that was going on between me and my daughter's father.
That's trauma. That's another trauma.
It was, and one of the best things that I know that I could have done was I wrote him a Declaration of Independence letter. My daughter's father, and I wrote him a letter, and apologizing to him what I've done to him, because I know I've done my share of destroying him when we were together.
Wow.
And I remember he came, when he got that letter, and he came to my home, showed up. I ain't seen him in years.
Really?
And he showed up at my house, and me and him sat down and we had a conversation, and we made peace with it, and because I had to get myself out of the turmoil of what was going on, because at this point it's about him and my daughter. It ain't about us no more.
Yeah.
And him and my daughter do their thing, and I'll be over here minding my business because I ain't got nothing to do with nothing. And so that was one of the things. I wrote both.
You said something that I hope women are hearing, and other, women need to actually heal that relationship with the father of their children. I don't like to hear baby father, but the father of the children.
It's your children's father, not your baby. Because
I'm so sick of that language. It's really very immature language. So your children's father, we have to heal that relationship that you had before you even made that seed.
Right.
And they can be 20, they can be, I don't care how old they are, but that Declaration of Independence that you just said is something that probably pricked his heart, because it really made him see himself and yourself and what happened.
Yeah. It was hard for him. I'm gonna tell you, it was hard for him, because I never, I've seen him in tears and I've seen him in pain, but not in this way, and we were able to have a conversation that we've never had before. And my daughter was able to sit and be able to hear, what was going on, and a lot of things that was said, and lies, and, deceit that was going on. it was put to rest because he had to show up and tell the truth. You understand? He had to show up and tell the truth, and it was painful for him, but he did whatever it is that he needed to do.
But Shonta, the pain is inside.
Yeah.
But on the other side of that is grace.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much on the other side. You just got to go through the pain first.
Yeah, you do.
It's like a bump that's full of mucus. When you squeeze it, it heals.
Yeah.
But if you let it stay there, you touch it, it's going to keep hurting. But once you squeeze that, John, that's where the healing is. And even though it's painful, look where you guys are today.
Yeah, I mean, we trying to grow up. Let's put it like that. We trying to grow up. Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
Because he has his own space that he needs to do. And, he and I had that conversation, and I pray for him all the time, because that's still someone that I love.
Sure.
Despite, whatever may have been, that's still someone that I love. And I want that Black man to heal. Yeah. I want that Black man to have everything that he deserves, because we brought beauty into the world. Because every time I look at my daughter, she's a representation of both of us. You know what I'm saying? And I can't sit up here and keep holding that space for him. You know what I'm saying? Because he doesn't deserve that. Like, he just doesn't. Because as a Black man, I know he had his space that has nothing to do with me. And that's why he couldn't do what he needed to do for me. And even my space as a Black woman, I couldn't do what I needed to do for him, because I was still trying to grow up and I still was going through the things that I was going through, but we still made a beautiful person, because Ricky Aisha Manaya Carter is one of the best things. If we can't agree on anything, the one thing that I can say that baby, that daughter that we have, she is one of the greatest things that he and I would like put on the earth, and it just is.
Listen, we just put a diagram out for young people or even older women who were single mothers. This single mother phenomenon is touching everyone.
Yeah,
every race.
Yeah,
and it's something that was not meant to be. But it's here and it's been for generations. And we got to find a way to get past it and have beautiful children who understand that both parents mean something, but you guys got to communicate out of the hurt.
Yeah.
And that's where it's at. And for your daughter to see it, and imagine what type of woman she's going to be.
Yeah, but she's going through her own thing, because it was hard, like COVID was hard for her, like getting out of, graduating high school, going to college, and then having to everything be online, and that online learning is not for everybody. And, she went through a lot, she has her own life that, that I have to get adjusted to, because I be ready to shuck and buck everybody when it comes to her, because I feel like nobody is good enough for my baby. But I know she gotta, she has to live her life. And, she went through some things. And I will say 2020 was so rough for she and I. Like, I mean, I was like, is this what it's supposed to be? I would call my mom on the phone, Ma, she over here carrying on, and my mother, oh, put Shamalu on the phone, because that's what she called. Oh, put Shamalu on the phone. Shamalu, why you over there carrying on? Like, what's going on, Grandma? And she say her piece, and this, that, and the other. Or, my daughter called my brother, because my brother, like, that's my best friend. Like, I love my Tootsie Roll. And, and she would call him, Uncle Dante, you better get your sister, and,
that's a lot going on over there in the
family, and, but we need each other as a family. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just do. And, I won't get into everything that did occur, but it was a lot that happened. And, myself, my mom, my brother, my partner, my stepson, like, we went through a lot, in 2020, and it was very rough, but, with consistent prayer, therapy, because therapy is important, and, and just continuing to pray and continuing to keep going, because we know that we love each other despite everything that goes on, we just got to keep going and continue to keep moving. And that's what we continue to do. And, it's not easy, raising a 20-year-old. It's not easy raising a 20-year-old young Black girl. It's just not easy, and especially for me, I've been around the block and spent and did willies and, did all that mess. And so I know the game, and and so when I see it a mile away, and, and I try to tell her, she be, you know how they do.
But she got to go through this. Young people got to go through. Unfortunately, we don't want them. Just like your mother told you, you was like, "Ma." It's the same thing. Everybody has to go through it. But you know what? I will say that I love so much about this is you're an author. You showed us the 2 books, but we just talking about life in the Black space, Black families, Black women, being a Black mother, raising a Black child. I love to have that this conversation we're having, because the family is so important, and that's why God made us a part of a family. He could have made us all individuals. But understand that we need that family dynamic. We need the relationship of family. And so when I hear the things you're saying, it sounds so colored, but I can see my life in it, and I'm sure other people will be able to see their life in it. Because and I love what you say. Therapy is important. Black
therapy
people
saved my life.
Black people, we got to go to therapy. We gotta heal this trauma. It's trauma in our families. It's trauma we make trauma because we're traumatized. We got to go to therapy and stop acting as if it's some foreign movement. It is just like getting new Jordans. Get some therapy.
Yeah, because you can be in the temples, and I don't care what religious practice that you pray. It's a lot of trauma in the temples, and everybody keep running around here, keep acting like, oh, well, if you ain't praying to Jesus, or if you ain't doing this, Christians don't go through the. Yes, we do.
Yes,
we're human.
Do.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we are human. And we go through some things, and that's the thing that I hate about our existence as humans, because we get in on these levels and just be sitting up here acting like trauma doesn't occur, or we're not going through stuff and everything is just so happy. And it's not. It is happy times. It is beautiful times, because I have a lot of beauty in my life, a lot of it. But I also got a lot of darkness and stuff that I'm still cleaning up, and I still have to deal with on a daily basis. And just as much as I can be light, but I also have a lot of darkness, and that's where my light is at, doing the work of my trauma. You understand what I'm saying? That is the divinity right there. Like that thing, like God see me, God know what time it is. Motherfucker know what time it is with me. Ain't none.
That's real.
I'm just trying to be imperfectly righteous. That's it.
That's real talk. That right there is real talk, and that's the type of talk that's so important. Like we sit around and we can talk, oh, I do this, I do that. But what are you doing for that backstory? Are you working on that trauma, that stuff that's really fueling you and keeping you up at night? And always, a lot of people who have a lot of accomplishments is because they feel they're not good enough. And it's the trauma that's going on. So they got to keep accomplishing on the outside. When the inside, they're falling apart. So we got to deal with trauma. We got to be able to put stuff away. You can't keep letting it stay inside of you and controlling it. We got to bring it out and put it away. And once you do that, once you go through the pain, it's always going to be better afterwards.
It is.
It doesn't seem like it, but it will. But to hold that trauma for your life is pain. And it's bigger than that. It's just so bigger than that. So I love to hear what you're doing with your life. I love to hear the whole story. That's what Creating the Vibe is about. The whole story, not just you're an author. Because I'm so proud of that. I love your books. I love the color.
Thank you.
I think that as African people, we are very colorful people.
Yes, we are.
And I love the colors I see in your books, and then the affirmations that come from an African-centered space. That's what we need. Children need to see themselves on a book. When I was young, there weren't many books with me as a title. So these young people now get to see books with them on title. So are you going to stay in children books, or are you looking to do other type of books, or is this your space?
Well, Shea Buttah, this is my brand. This is me. But I have a project coming up November the 13th. I have an anthology coming with a group of sisters that I did with Women of Virtue Publishing, and we are doing an anthology about healing from domestic violence. So that should be out November the 13th. November the 13th.
That's amazing. In 2020, during the pandemic, domestic violence has doubled because people are in spaces together, they can't leave. You know, there's a lot of anxiety in homes, and you can't just really go out in COVID. You got to stay in with your abuser sometimes.
Yeah.
So domestic violence is something that we don't want to talk about, and it happens in Black households. It happens in every household.
Every household, yeah.
No color. And so it is very important that I'm glad you're writing about that, because these are all things that we got to unbox. We got to put out there. So that's a beautiful. So you're moving on to, so you're doing children, but you're doing all books. You're just writing up a storm out here.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? The story has to be told. Like, you know, if because I'm not just Shea Buttah and the Herbal Kids, like I'm more than that too. Like, you know, the end of this year, I should be graduating, school, because I'm also, an addictions counselor in the making, and so, so I'm getting prepped and prepared for that. So I'm like really putting my head in the books, because I only have like a few classes left, and then I'll be, skipping and twerking down the aisle, once I, graduate.
I love it. You say skipping and twerking.
Yeah, Dan, because I'm, because my brain is wore out, so, I'll be glad with that. And then it's just other projects and things coming up. It's some that I can say, and then it's some that, that I won't say until it's signed, sealed, and delivered.
Well, we're gonna have you back. Listen, we're gonna stay with Shea Buttah and anthologies and all your things you're doing, because you're very interesting. This interview right here, this is hot.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really hot. But I want you to show your books again. I want to tell the people where they can get them from.
Okay.
And let's get on that right now.
Okay, so we have Shea Buttah's First Day of School. That right here. This is Shea Buttah's First Day of School. This is Shea Buttah and the Herbal Kids Herbal Affirmations. You can get it on Amazon, and you can also get it from my website, www.sheabutterandtheherbalkids.com. And when you get it off the website, my website, I autograph them and I send them to you.
Okay. Tell people how to spell Shea Buttah.
Shea Buttah is SHEABUTTAH and THE Herbal HERBAL Kids KIDS.com. But that's about to change soon, because I'm revamping that as well. So because I gotta make Shea Buttah and the Herbal Kids shorter. So my website should be revamped within the next couple weeks.
Okay.
But I'll put that on social media, on my page on Facebook, and also on Instagram. You can follow me at Aspire, ASPIRE _by BY_TAY. And I'll put, and I'll say my things over there too.
Okay. So you're coming out with a book the end of November?
Yeah, November the 13th, myself and 7 other sisters, we are doing an anthology project with Women of Virtue Publishing. The sister who owns that, her name is Rachel Beals. You can follow her, on Facebook, and she just basically gave us a platform to, she put out there, into the ether, hey, I'm looking for some sisters to be able to tell their story, and I jumped on it. And I said, I want to be a part of your project, sis, would you mind? And she was like, sure. And we moving it from there. Like, I try my best not to stay still, because when you stay still in your creative, you just got to move forward. You just got to do it. If it fails, it fails. If it works, it works. But that's just how you make your creativity come to life.
Well, I got to put my bids in for, I don't know what all this feedback I'm getting. I said, but I got to put my bids in for that. You guys need to come. I want them 7 girls. I want Rachel. I want to talk about that anthology. That book.
Okay, I'll make sure I'll contact her and let her know, because I think she would love that.
Yeah, we could do that in November. We sit down and talk, because I know it's plenty of women who need, and men too. Domestic violence is not just a woman thing, and kids. Kids are, so this is something that needs to definitely have a platform, and I would love to have you guys in and talk about that book. It sounds amazing.
Okay.
But listen, I'm telling you, you have been funny. You have been entertaining. You have told stories. You have been transparent. You are the type of guest I love.
Thank
That
you.
really, I just sit back and let talk, and I just listen, and I kind of interact. But you're very good at this. I really it's
because this is me in real life. Like, people who know me know this is me in real life. Like, this is not entertainment. Like, this is me in real life. Like, me in real
And
life.
that's what I like. Authentic. Be yourself. Bring it. You know, I love your colorful words. You put everything down up in here. You know, the fruit bees. I love it. I love it. So the last thing, what is like your next move, other like for yourself? What do you aspire after, as an addiction counselor? What are you going to do next? What's next for Shonta?
What's next for me is just hoping that I can be the vision that I want to see in the world. Like, I know that I can't take everything on my back, because that's one of those narratives that I refuse to take on anymore, of feeling as if, as a Black woman, I'm supposed to save the world, because everybody ain't going with us, and we got to be okay with everybody ain't going with us. And so, so I just do my part of what I can, try to stay out my lane, shut my windows, close my curtains, and do, and be in the background doing what I'm supposed to do, and making a difference however way I'm supposed to make a difference. And that's just basically it.
That was powerful. You said shut the door, close the curtains. You like, listen, I'm doing my own thing, minding my business.
Yeah, because I am, because it's too much chaos going on in the world, and you sit up here and you feed into all this mess that's going on out here. You gonna go crazy. Like, you really, really are. Like, this is the era of losing your mind. It really is, and it's going to break us down. We already dealing with the era of COVID, and I don't want to get into my opinions on that, but it's just a thing of, we got to stay above water. We got to keep our head right. We got to do the best that we can to keep our health right. We got to do the best that we can to surround ourselves with people who literally love us, not those people who sit up here, hey sis, and hey bro, and then be sitting up here, chopping your whole head off. No, I'm talking about good people who really actually pray for you, love you, and got your back, when it's, when the breakdown come, not when, the flashing lights is popping, and, I'm with you because they think that you going somewhere. I'm talking about the people who be with you behind closed doors when you broke down, and they see you snotty nose crying, and, and going through the things. Stay with those people.
I love it. I mean, you said something. You said your environment. You said being able to have like that third eye, that descending eye, so you could see people for who they are and how they treat you. You said mind your business.
Yeah, mind your business. That's important, because that's another thing with us as Black people. Mind your business.
You said mind your business, and then you said consumption and what we're consuming. Especially with this technology and this digital lifestyle that we are so and enshrouded with now. We got to be watch what we consume.
Yeah,
it's a lot of trash out here, and we're consuming it and then trying to live like it.
Yeah,
I see these young girls and how they're presenting themselves every day. It's because what they're consuming.
Yeah,
because it's not real. None of the shit I see is real.
This stuff is an illusion, and when we learn that a lot of this stuff is an illusion, I think we'll get better off, because it literally is an illusion.
Literally, augmenting your body and all of the things that we're doing as women for this illusion of being beautiful all the time is not real.
It's not.
It's not real. And so you've got to really, again, deal with what's going on. If you work and clean up, if we work as hard as we work on the outside and put makeup and clean up the inside, girl, we'll be so bad. I'm telling you, we'll be bad.
Yeah.
We're so busy cleaning up and tucking the outside.
Yeah.
Inside is corroded, it's damaged, it's traumatized.
Yeah.
So I love what you said. Environment, mind your business. Have a discerning eye and watch your consumption. I love all of it. I love all of it. I gotta laugh at that. I love it. So listen, I so enjoyed you.
I appreciate you.
You were a star interview. I knew it. I knew when the day I met you, I put that camera in your face. You was like, I said, oh, yeah.
I gotta promote myself, queen, because if I don't, nobody else will.
You're doing big. Listen, you're doing big business. I love what you're doing. And listen, Keep going. Develop. Was it Shea Buttah, Almond Joy? Give me the names.
Shea Buttah Johnson, Almond Joy Jones, Ginger Root Robinson, Kwanzaa Eugene Davis, and Thurgood James.
Listen to them names, y'all. That comes from a creative name, a creative space. Nobody would think of that. I love those. Almond Joy. Everybody knows Almond Joy.
Yeah.
You know, every Black person heard of Kwanzaa.
Yeah.
You know, say Thurgood. We know Thurgood Marshall.
Yeah.
Ginger Root. You better put some in your throat.
I can't tell. I can't.
Some ginger root for sure.
Yeah, I can't.
So I love the name of your characters. And listen, we're looking out for you. And listen, I think that I can't wait to see that on screen.
It will be.
Yeah, I think it will. And no,
Queen, it's not a think about it. I'm manifesting everything that I want in this lifetime. Period. You know what I'm saying? So when I say that I'm going to be a legend in the making, an icon of love, and you know, in living flesh, I will. Other people may not see it, but I have to be that vision, and I shall be.
You guys, I want to understand. Shonta Watson is not shy. She is telling you what she's going to be, how she's going to be, when she's going to be. She's not beating around any bushes. I love that. And that's how you have to be in that space. And what you're doing is legendary. You're so creative, you know, and you're an artist, you're a writer. You know, it's not many people who can write the story, illustrate the story, and then write all the scenes around the story. That's pure genius. And you know, all you need is a digital animator and a digital illustrator. You do it all.
Yeah, I'm sitting here taking my time teaching, you know, learning, you know, to do it myself. Like, you know, because one of my friends, you know, a good brother, you know, the Black Genius Show, Brian Robinson, he said to me, he was like, you know, because he always called me Watson. He was like, Watson, I ain't trying to hear what you talking about. I know you could do it on that pad. So get on that pad and get it popping. You know, and I'm like, all right, I hear you, bro. I hear you.
Brandon. He's saying some. He's saying
Brian,
some.
Yeah,
Brian,
that's a good brother.
I don't know. I got to check him out. He's saying some good stuff.
Yeah, he a good brother. Yeah,
I like that, Watson. Yeah, I like that, Watson. Get on that page.
Yeah,
that's what's up. But so, Shonta, listen, it's always a blessing to see Black women shining. It's always a blessing when we can come together and laugh and build together. I appreciate this time with you. We at BLaKBoX Radio love our Black boxes. We thank you for coming in. Thank you for making me laugh.
I told you we was going to cackle.
You put the cackle on me tonight. Thank you for the cackle. I really, and the real talk. You brought some real talk on top of that. You know, you brought the mother. You brought the sister girl. I love when you say you got some good Judies. That's some real talk. That's Black woman talk right there.
Yeah.
You know, so and you're Philadelphia John.
Yeah, I am. I am a Philly John.
I heard all of that. I love that. So you've been so colorful. What you do is colorful. People can get your books one more time, and then we're gonna get out of here. How to get your books?
Okay, you get my books on Amazon, or you can get them off my website, www.sheabuttahandtheherbalkids.com. And if you get it off my website, you'll get the autographed copy. But if you get it off Amazon, then get it off Amazon. But if you get the book and you follow me on social media, please send me pictures, people. Please send me, because that's how I grow, my thing on Amazon, So if you got Shea Butter out here and you got it off of Amazon, please be in my DM and send me your pictures, please, with your babies. Thank y'all.
That is that's so nice. Listen, that's all we need to say. I just love it. Listen, we are out of here. Listen, I got on one of my. I
want one of those, Queen.
Yeah, Black Baltimore Speaks.
Yeah,
y'all got to pick that up. That's that box up joint, and it's so soft, sis. So this is something that you want to have. But yeah, the merch is coming through, guys. Check it out on BLaKBoXXradio.com. Keep following us. If you are a part of the Black community and you're bringing value that's for all of us, please contact us at BLaKBoXXradio@gmail.com. We'd love to have you. We want to talk to Black people. We want to give Black people platforms and also other people too. This is not just a Black platform. This is an information platform, but Black people are definitely, you got your Black card if you're Black. We love that.
Yes.
So come through BLaKBoX Radio and holler at us. Holla Black. We boxed up and out. Let's get
Talk that talk, Queen. Talk that talk.
Yeah, that's right. Let's get that deuces on and Shonta. We out of here.
Hey.
Boxed up and out. Deuces.
All right.
All right, I'm ending the broadcast.
Okay.
All right.